Legacy Maker, the All Sports
The place is
Network.
here and the time is now. Let's take it round for round. And people gather round. Let's see who can win the crown. All the marbles involved. Football, baseball, or golf. Who's dominating the hoops? Who's talking false or the truth? Yeah, come and show me your war face. I'll show you my war face. No holds barred, so for your sake, you better show up in good shape. Valuable information is key to your domination. So focus on preparation. Online is your reputation. Yeah, it's one-on-one. You and me, ain't no fear in me. You will see. When it comes to this, you'll be wearing the number 23. In debate, I hold my weight cause these sports I'm attached to it. Your legacy, get ready cause I'm gonna set a match to it. Hey. Burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
This week's panel: Jay Quimby, Robb Johnson, Lamonte Thomas, James Brown, and Cody Stewart.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Episode 25 of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. I'm your man, Darrell Owens, and this is going to be a fun one, ladies and gentlemen, because you know what? We got a lot to talk about, a lot in the NFL. This is a strictly NFL show, unless somebody got something to put out outside elsewhere. So it's going to be a great one for y'all today. I hope y'all enjoy it. Everybody's rocking hats today to an extent. We look like we're keeping on a hat tradition here. We got some very, very happy people in the building. Once again, I'm your Darrell Lawrence. Let's go around the room and introduce the crew. This is our first six-man crew for Legacy on Fire, so this should be a good one. First of all, the man, myth, and the absolute legend himself, co-founder of the Legacy Maker Sports Network and co-host of the Legacy Maker Sports Podcast, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby, rocking the Buckeyes hat today, I see, Jay.
What's up? Yeah, it's what I could find in all the moving, trying to get stuff ready for this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, we still love you, though.
Yeah, we still love you.
You say that, Lamont, and I was actually doing research on your team. You know, you've got like 5 Buckeyes on defense, right?
Oh, yeah. You mean Denver?
Yeah.
I was telling you that. I've been telling you that, since the middle of the season last year. I told you I love all my Buckeyes on defense. I don't know where we'd be without them.
And speaking of the Denver Broncos, and probably the most happiest guy on this board right now, because he's got Russell Wilson in his back pocket, Mr. Lamonte Thomas. How you doing, sir?
Man, listen, let me tell you at least how the news was broke to me. I was working a 16 at work, and I was asleep, and my phone starts going off like crazy, and I wake up, and I think that I'm late coming back to work for my break. And all I see is all the Russell Wilson news, and I just had to take a minute to process it, and I was just like, "This really happened."
He's a happy guy.
Yeah, I'm still. It still hasn't hit me yet. I'm still elated, but we'll see what happens.
All right,
you traded a whole bunch of shit for an old quarterback. Welcome to Tampa Bay.
I'll take it because we had a bunch of young nothing.
Right. Anything's a lot better than what you had. Then we got our man, Mr. Cody Stewart, rocking the Timber Rattlers, I believe.
The Timber Rattlers, I'm out here basically trying out to be a Major League Baseball coach, starting off with the T-ball team first, though. We're going to work our way up. So when the MLB season finally gets going in probably like 2030, after their lockout is finally over with, I'll be there coaching.
That sounds about right. And then, of course, our man at the bottom, I guess it would be bottom right here, Mr. James Brown. James rocking the Falcons hat today. How you doing, James?
What's going on, man? Another good week. About to get in there with the fellas. Let's go.
Let's go. And, of course, last but not least, the man of many hats, not rocking one today, but the man of many hats, Mr. Robb Johnson. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. Let's have a good show.
Yes, very excited, y'all. We got to go on. We got so many great topics. We're glad you're all here with us. Thanks for all the participation we get today on the show. But we're going to start this one, ladies and gentlemen, with something of command. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Washington football team has decided, or I guess let me say it straight, the Washington Commanders. I got to get used to it, y'all. The Washington Commanders traded for Carson Wentz today. And so Carson Wentz is a Washington Commander. I believe there was 2 third-round picks involved. There's some second-round picks involved. I know Cody probably have all the details, but I will say this is an interesting one, y'all. We're going to start quick takes off with this one. The Commanders, they've got their guy. I don't know who's somebody's got to be eager to start this.
Can I go first?
Smiling, Cody. The Washington Commanders trade for Carson Wentz. What are your thoughts on this one?
I think the thing that gets me is the reports that came out earlier in or like right after the Super Bowl saying Washington was going to be all in on trying to get a starting quarterback, a top tier quarterback. And we do know about the rumors of them offering so many first round picks to Seattle for Russell Wilson. And he ended up just saying, no, he doesn't want to go there. But you go through all of these quarterbacks that you could go after as far as trades, and you end up on Carson Wentz. I mean, if I'm a Washington fan, I do say Carson Wentz might be a little step up of what you've had, but he's not really moving the needle like that. And I look at it like this. We look at the Indianapolis team that he was playing on last year, and the biggest thing that they had was a running game. No disrespect to Antonio Gibson, but the Washington, they're not there with what Indianapolis had with Jonathan Taylor. I don't see this ending well for Washington.
All right. Mr. Robb Johnson, the Commanders have their quarterback. What do you think, brother?
Yes, sir. I want to piggyback off what Cody said. You have Jonathan Taylor. He had fumble issues. And now in Washington, you have a running back who has fumble issues. Let me read something to you guys. This is from Zach Brown. Reports are Carson Wentz had poor leadership, reckless style, and led to an exit from Colts. What does that remind you of, everybody? It reminds you of the Philadelphia Eagles when he had problems with Nick Foles. This also tells me that Washington will be drafting a quarterback. They have to, because you don't know if he's going to stay healthy. You don't know if Taylor Heinicke is going to stay healthy. And who's to say that Taylor Heinicke is going to beat him out for the job? Washington, also, let me pull this up as well, as I know we were talking about numbers. Give me one quick second. They are going to pay $28 million this year of his base salary. The Colts got 2 third-round picks, and Washington's paying his full contract. Ron Rivera is a dead man walking.
Yeesh.
James Brown, what are your thoughts on this one, brother?
Not gonna lie, I feel like this one reeks a little bit of desperation, man. Like Rob said, if you're Ron Rivera, you're heading to your 3rd or 4th season as the Washington football team coach, or the Commanders. You're heading into 3rd or 4th season as coach of the Commanders, and it's like you need to win, and you need to win now. I mean, they tried it last year with Fitzpatrick, and he was hurt. It didn't work out. Heineke's a good, maybe backup starting for you in a pinch. He's not a 17-game starter, though. They think they might have found that with Wentz. I mean, he has had his good moments. I mean, last season, outside of him playing the Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars in that stinker of a last game, he put up decent numbers. And I feel like this will be a good opportunity for him in Washington. He'll have a better receiving core in Washington than he had in Indianapolis. I mean, he'll lose some productivity in the backfield going from Jonathan Taylor to Antonio Gibson. But I feel like overall as a team, he's got a better shot in Washington, especially with that receiving core. You got Terry McLaurin. If Logan Thomas comes back healthy, Curtis Samuel, he's got some guys he can throw it around to. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Jay, what are your thoughts on the Commanders and Carson Wentz?
Shit show. Ron Rivera doing the same thing, except he's just sucking more. Being, not part. Curtis Samuel was brought up. If he's healthy, like I told you, Curtis Samuel's one more injury away from being on the disability, just like me. So, I mean, the guy can't do anything. I mean, he signs a contract. He's Tony Romo. He breaks his arm. I don't see this being a fix. And, I mean, basically, you're the Colts. It was a 1-year rental for a first-round pick. It's stupid.
The Colts said they made a mistake, basically.
Well, yeah, because he wasn't a leader. They didn't like him in the locker room. But why not go after Jimmy G? Jimmy G would still be better than Wentz.
Yeah,
Just not the arm power though.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it. I mean, and to me, I'm still trying to figure it out, but I mean, I guess we'll see. LT, what are your thoughts on the Commanders taking Carson Wentz?
I feel like it's typical Washington fashion. You lose out on Russ. You always don't get what seems to be gold. You get the fool's gold, and not to mention you also go get a guy who you've seen up close. You also have to get somebody who's known for playing for a divisional team. It's like the same thing over and over again. In terms of what he'll do for Washington, it's hard to tell because what are you going to ask him to do, right? I think at least the Colts had a better notion of taking Wentz, knowing that their primary weapon will be the running game. With Washington, you're in a division with you're a quarterback away. Really, you're a good quarterback away from taking over the division. The division's still for the taking, right? When you look at down the line. So I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know how long they want to go with this. And frankly, I don't think they do either. And that's the issue.
All right. And that's the thing. I mean, we're going to see how this plan works because at this point, we really don't know what this Washington Commanders team, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. You gotta have a name to change the culture. That's why they were pushing for Russ, which I at least give them credit. They tried to get Russ, and we knew that's where they needed to kind of go on this one. They haven't. I'm gonna throw this out there to y'all. When is Washington truly the last time had a franchise quarterback? And I want you to think about that. And when is the last time? And the first person that
Doug Williams.
Sonny Jersey.
I feel like
Joe Theismann. It was Joe Theismann.
I mean, I feel like they had a chance with RG3. They messed it up. To me,
they messed it.
And that's my problem. It doesn't matter if you have a franchise quarterback or not. If you don't have a franchise to run correctly, it's not going to work.
Real quick. LT, to your point, sir. To your point. I put it on the franchise, but I also put it on these ignorant fans. I mean, when I see on message boards, I know Russell Wilson saw it. When you're comparing him, saying he's the Donovan McNabb 2.0, who the hell wants to come to your franchise?
Jay says it all right there. That's all. I have nothing left to say, Jay.
Yeah,
you put an exclamation point.
Exactly.
And that's exactly right.
Jay Quimby hit it right on the head, man.
That's it. That's nothing else.
If they were the Red Wolves, Russell would have came. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean,
if only they were the Red Wolves.
That is funny. He was like, I don't want to be a commander. I want to be a Red Wolf.
Listen.
All right. We hit our next topic here on Quick Takes here on Legacy on Fire. The next one, Amari Cooper, ladies and gentlemen. The big time, I guess you could say the rumor here is that the Cowboys will release Amari Cooper here in the next couple of, probably next week or before next week. And now that you say to yourself, man, with Amari Cooper on the market, where should he go? Or when he does go on the market, where should he go? And where do you think he lands? So I'm actually going to start this one here with Rob because, Rob, being a guy who's close, knows the Cowboys organization, and, be a Gav fan. But what are your thoughts on this, man? Like Amari Cooper, the rumor in the locker room is he called him the Black Kirk Cousins. Now that, to me, is hilarious. Rob, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I mean, the more I've studied it, he's not lying. I mean, Dak Prescott throws a lot of balls that Amari Cooper and other receivers have to go up and get. Not dissing Dak, but Dak is a very good quarterback. But he has to also, work on some things. As far as Amari Cooper goes, I think it's a good move because the Cowboys need to focus more on defense. They need to focus more on developing CeeDee Lamb because we don't know if CeeDee Lamb is going to be the next guy. I mean, guys, CeeDee Lamb drops a lot of balls. He gets frustrated. I know he makes some of the spectacular catches, but we're not really sure about CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys need to understand who they have in CeeDee Lamb before they start rolling out the checkbook. Because right now, when you compare the 88s, he's not in Dez Bryant's league. I'm sorry. As far as the teams that you would see him on, this is what I look at, guys. And this is a team right now who is 7th in cap space, almost $36 million. Let me ask you this, guys. Do you think that you're going to be able to outscore the Kansas City Chiefs every year and prevent them from getting in the end zone? Like the Cincinnati Bengals should bring in Amari Cooper, Jamar Chase, and make it and put it against Kansas City for years to come. That's my prediction.
Man, that would be crazy. James, what are your thoughts on this one? Where should Amari Cooper go?
Just forget about blocking.
That's why you have a draft, James. That's why you have a draft, James.
You see what the Bengals do in the draft. But I feel like, Amari Cooper, he does have a chance to go somewhere else now. Dallas, they do have to clear their cap space off their books. I believe they're going to be $25 million over the cap or something like that this year, and they got to get money back. So I feel like him moving on is good for both parties in this regard. As far as where he could go, I do like Rob's suggestion of maybe a team like Kansas City where he could take maybe a 1-year deal, prove that he's still a top of the market guy, maybe get back to the market next year. If not Kansas City, I'd say maybe somewhere like San Francisco, another place where he could possibly compete for a championship, where they need another number 2 wide receiver. I mean, Deebo Samuel, he's their do-it-all guy on the outside and in the backfield. But if you could pair him with another guy, that opens up way more possibilities for whoever's playing quarterback, whether it be Jimmy G, Trey Lance, or even Tom Brady. We'll see.
Oh, we'll see. Jay, what are your thoughts on this one, brother? Where do you see Amari Cooper landing?
Oh, Cooper can go anywhere he wants, but stay at Dallas because Dallas, you're acclimated. Yes, you don't like your quarterback, but I mean, the only other place, I think he's going to make the play for money. He's far enough into his career that he's going to go after the paycheck. And, Atlanta has got a whole bunch of money wrapped up in a quarterback that can still sling it. Why not go home? I mean, that's where he played college ball.
But Jay, the Falcons only have $3 million. What is it? $3,820,734. They don't have that much money on it.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
They don't have that much money, but
we're working on it.
If you can take the GM down in Tampa is that you take that deal and you back in a lot of that cash or turn it into guarantee, and then you make it work that way.
Well, not everybody's Tampa, Jay. Everybody can't be genius like Tampa.
This is also true.
Just trying to be optimistic for James's team.
We're finessing some things.
I'm trying to give James some hope.
Okay, we are finessing some things. We'll see what happens.
Wheeling and dealing.
All right, Cody, what are your thoughts?
I was on the fence with this one because I do agree that Amari Cooper, he has 2 different ways he can go here. He's already made a good amount of money in the NFL, so he might go on a 1-year deal where he's like, hey, I want to win a championship. Or he could say, hey, I still want to cash in and get a long-term contract. I do kind of feel like it's going to be more towards the contract side to get another 4 or 5 year deal if possible. And just looking at the teams who need a receiver or another receiver to complement one that they already have and that already has that cap space, I can see Amari Cooper down with Miami Dolphins. You pair him up with Jalen Waddle. Of course, we still have the question marks with Tua. We don't know exactly what kind of quarterback he's going to be, but what better than to have Amari Cooper on one side, Jalen Waddle on the other side? There's no more excuses for Tua. You can see exactly what you have right there with those 2 wide receivers for him to throw to.
All right. See, that's the thing, and I like that because Miami definitely needs that second receiver because Devontae Parker. All right, LT, what are your thoughts on this?
They need somebody to throw it, but I like what I went with Amari Cooper because I think James. I'm right on boat with James. I hate to say it because I don't want the Kansas City Chiefs to get another player, but I feel like it's a fit. They did pursue Juju. They pursued Josh Reynolds last year. It came out. They signed Josh Gordon, and they didn't really get the return they were looking for. So I mean, they need that other receiver, besides Tyreek, to be consistent enough to carry them through. And I think if they get that, I mean, obviously there's no quarterback issues there. Even if it is a 1-year deal, I mean, think about what you're getting there. That puts you over the hump. I mean, you talk about Cincinnati having an advantage. They might smack Cincinnati in the mouth next year with a guy like Amari Cooper adding to what they already have. So why not Kansas City? I think it's a fit for me.
Man, I tell you,
another team out there that's got great in that same division that's got plenty of cap space and needs another weapon, the Chargers.
Yeah, we'll get it. I'm gonna get into them too.
I
hate this division.
I will say this. Like I looked at the teams for me. Obviously, we know he's not going to Minnesota because he doesn't want to play with the black Kirk Cousins. So I'm sure he doesn't want to play with the white Kirk Cousins. Just throwing it out there. Yikes. Secondly, for me, I know the Commanders were this close last year on getting him. I know they definitely made the efforts for him. So if you're the Commanders, if you got money, because if you just paid Carson Wentz $28 million, you got to try to see if you can get him in there to go alongside Terry. And if not there, I would say the Colts, because they definitely need a number one receiver, whoever their quarterback may be. All right, next one. Now, this one right here, this one's going to hurt James' feelings, but we got to talk about Calvin Ridley and Betgate. I don't know what they're going to throw a gate in there with everything, so we're going to call it Betgate on this one. But Calvin Ridley is suspended for the 2022 season for betting on NFL games while he was out. And James, you know I'm starting with you on this one because this one's kind of crazy, and it came out of nowhere. Unless, Arthur Blank was just master plan on keeping him on the team. You know how those backdoor deals work. Ladies and gentlemen, James, what are your thoughts on this one?
Go off, JB.
Go off, JB.
How stupid, dumb. Bruh, you play for the Atlanta Falcons. You cash an NFL check. What the hell makes you think you can bet on NFL games? With the team, without the team, whatever. You were cashing a check from the NFL. What makes you think you can bet on games, bro? Luckily, he picked the Falcons to win in his parlays, because if he picked them to lose, that'd look way worse, and he'd possibly be banned for a lifetime instead of a year. But it's just, look, we gave you the pass for taking a break for your mental health, and, bro, you took that pass and you abused it by going out here and betting on games. Now you're gone for the whole next season, too? It's frustrating. But you know what? We'll find a way. We'll find something else. We made it kind of work last season. I'm disappointed, though. I'm just disappointed in my man.
I understand, Jay. I'm going to you because I know your squad is in the same division. So how do you feel about this Calvin Ridley situation?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, especially when you look at what he spent, what he bet, and what he lost. He lost,
$11 million.
Money. I mean, and he got paid to sit home for a whole season. Bro, pick up the phone, call Pete Rose. You got time. It just, damn. It don't make any sense.
Could have called his mom.
I mean, we are people that report on this, and we know what the CBA says. He plays for the damn people, signed a contract, and he don't know what it says. It blows my damn mind. It really just don't make sense. But
check.
Calvin I could make it the bet.
Yes. Hey, Cody, what are your thoughts on this Calvin Ridley situation? Bro?
Look, man. Look, they were saying on Twitter that if he were to bet on the Falcons to lose, man, he'd make his salary back immediately. So maybe that's the route he was trying. I don't know. Look, that's what Twitter's saying. That's what Twitter's saying. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, he knows he shouldn't have been doing it, and I know that there are other players in the NFL that are betting on games. I mean, we all know that, but they're smart. Like, they're getting their cousins or, their ex-girlfriends or whatever. They're getting them to do the betting. They're not out here with the username Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, Atlanta Falcons, placing bets. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense, man. He knows the rules. And the funny thing to me, though, was with him on Twitter, he was like, I only bet $1,500. I don't have a gambling problem. Like, bro, it's not that. It's like, why were you so stupid to do this?
Yo, it's the crazy. Look, like I said, it blew my mind when I saw it.
After you lose your first $1,000, don't you just say, "Fuck it, I'm done"?
Not when you got 11 million.
I mean, when you got 11 million, well, you don't have 11 million now, but.
Hey, Rob, man, make some sense of this for me, man. Make some sense of this for me.
All right, I'm going to take the emotion out of this and give some facts here. I hope this proves to everyone that money is the end-all, be-all, because I want people in the media to stop complaining about players who ask for more money. I want fans to stop complaining. While most of you fans out there are betting on these games, that's why you're sending death threats to people and being crazy, because you're betting. But let me put a little more perspective on this. Jim Irsay, in March of 2014, faced 4 felonies for possession of a controlled substance. He was suspended 4 games. Ben Roethlisberger, accused of raping 2 women, got 6 games. Ray Rice initially got 3 games. The list goes on and on of transgressions. You can look at Robert Kraft, who was involved in a sexual what was it? A prostitution ring. A prostitution ring. Guess what's happening?
He was getting
so
rubbed
far?
the right way.
Nothing. Nothing happened to him. And what I'm saying, folks, is that we have to come to the inevitability, and we have to understand that money is what rules this game. So stop being naive. Yes, we call it a child's game. Yes, we say that this game is for the love. No, folks, it's for the money. Roger Goodell was trying to protect his ass and the owner's ass because they know that this could open up Pandora's box. You already have NFL players, past and present, saying the games are rigged and fixed. We have a huge problem on our hands.
All right, LT, I believe you're the last one we haven't talked to. Where we got LT?
We woke up Robb Johnson, my guy. All right, but for real, there's a lot of merit to what he's saying. I mean, I definitely like the fact that he pointed out that you got lesser sentences for things that didn't have to do with the integrity of the game, but they had to do with the players' conducts, which affected real people, right? And I think you got to think about what the message is saying for the NFL. As long as it doesn't compromise the integrity of their game, they're okay with it. That's basically what they're saying, or they'll slap your wrist, right? So what's really important here? Other than that, yeah, Calvin Ridley, I believe he's like the 5th or 6th player in the NFL to be suspended for or to be punished for betting on games. It's just educate yourself, man. You are making money, but realize the history of the league you play for, right? Because if you know that kind of stuff, that you can actually maneuver like people have suggested. Don't let this be your downfall. Obviously, you were dealing with some other stuff before. Don't add to your problems, man.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. James, before we move on.
I just got one more thing to point out. Ridley has a brother named Riley Ridley, who was a free agent. Bro, how your brother do your parlays? It's your brother.
It's your brother.
He's not on the team. He got cash in the check.
He's supposed to be your brother. Rob.
Is that for short of the username?
I can guarantee it. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. But sooner or later, something's going to come out, especially now that gambling is legal. Something's going to come out, and it's not going to be good. I'm talking 1994 baseball effects.
Oh, that's that boy. The NFL get that. I mean, it's getting close because there's been a lot of crazy stuff over the last 5-6 years from the NFL, and it feels
It's
like
coming.
What is this sport baseball you speak of? I haven't heard of it this year.
and they cancel more. They canceled another week of baseball games. They already continue to make that. Thank God for the show. Because the show will keep me relevant on that one. All right, the next one we're going to talk about on Quick Takes, Mr. Derek Carr. There was starting to become a few reports that Derek Carr was being shot by Vegas and that he could be on his way out of Vegas. Now, obviously Derek Carr had a pretty good year last year. At some points, he was considered an MVP candidate, and they got a Raiders team into the playoffs, and they came close to beating Cincinnati. But, I just want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on, Derek Carr. And if he does go out, where would you like to see him go? I'm going to start this one with LT. I know that you are a West guy, and I'm pretty sure you want him far away from the West. LT, what do you got on this one?
I mean, at this point, it's like, I don't know, the Raiders are still not as big of a headache as the other two teams to me. But at the same time, I don't feel like he's going anywhere. I don't know where I'd like to see him go. But I don't think I'm looking at Ian Rappaport's report. He said that he believes that he's going to stay and possibly get that contract extension. McDaniels was his first choice as coach, so they actually got his input, and that's who he wanted, and it was like a matchup. It was a mutual interest, from what I understand. So with that being said, I don't think he goes anywhere. I'm not sure where would be a good fit for him. I mean, obviously, it's going to have to be somewhere where they have pieces, but the quarterback is a big need. Maybe the Colts. They still need a quarterback. You saw Wentz, what he was able to do with a good defense and a running game there. I think Derek Carr may be able to do just as good, if not better. So,
all right, Cody, what are you thinking on this one, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see McDaniels coming in and absolutely blowing it up immediately. Derek Carr had a good year last year, led the Raiders to the playoffs. I think McDaniels is going to stick with them and build on what they were able to do last year. Now, in regards to where would I like to see him go, I was actually talking to a buddy of mine earlier today. I always give him hell about his team because I really feel like they are just a quarterback away. I don't know how the logistics would work in this, but I think Derek Carr on the Titans would make them so much better. Ryan Tannehill is so up and down, and I just feel like what Derek Carr has been able to do with the Raiders, and I think we can all agree that the Titans have had a better team than the Raiders over the past 4 or 5 years. I think he'd be able to get them over the hump more than what Ryan Tannehill is able to do.
Man, I tell you, could you imagine him throwing to A.J. Brown and Julio?
And handing off to Derrick Henry? Are you serious?
I felt like Tannehill never even when Julio was playing, I felt like Julio was never getting the ball. Like it didn't even look like he looked in his direction. It was the craziest thing. I'm like, you got a Hall of Famer to your left, I mean, you gonna throw him the football, and it wasn't until the end of the season he started throwing the football. But yeah, Derek Carr in Tennessee would be an interesting one. Rob, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, Seattle used to be in the AFC West, and Russell Wilson went to the AFC West. Well, the same thing can happen here. You can have an AFC West quarterback go to the NFC West as well, meaning that I think two possibilities. And I totally agree with what Cody says. I think Derek Carr would be a great fit in Tennessee. The only problem is since 2014, he's thrown over 10 interceptions 5 times. The two teams I look at, and I have to go to LT because LT always brings up just fabulous points. The Indianapolis Colts, they got rid of Carson Wentz for a reason. They're not going to go with Sam Ehlinger. They are going to try to get a really good quarterback, and I think Derek Carr could be that. Or I think, as I said initially, watch out for the Seattle Seahawks. And I'll say that because you still have a guy in DK Metcalf that does one thing well and one thing really good, and that goes on the 9 route. And for those of you out there in TV land who don't know what 9 route is, that's when you get off the ball and go straight down the field. And Derek Carr, one thing I know that he can do, he can damn sure sling the ball. So look out for that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, watch out for that. Pete Carroll can pull it off.
I could definitely see that one. James, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, Derek Carr, I feel like he should stay put in Oakland. I mean, the last time we saw Josh McDaniels as a head coach was when he arrived in Denver, and the first thing he did was drive off his talented quarterback and Jay Cutler. He drove him away to Chicago and got pennies on the dollar for it. If I'm Josh McDaniels, I'm keeping Derek Carr and I'm running my offense through him. I mean, we saw what he was able to do last season through all the turmoil, through all the tragedy and whatnot the Raiders went through, and he was still able to will them to a playoff spot. I mean, I feel like you bring him in, learn the system, get him some more weapons, maybe another guy on the other side of Renfro to free up Renfro and Waller, and you can make some things happen. But if you do choose to repeat things and trade them away again, I feel like you got to get them out of the AFC. You send them to the NFC. Maybe a team like Tampa Bay, who needs a quarterback now that their guy's now gone. Tampa Bay, Derek Carr, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin's on the menu. Back.
I don't like that dynamic with him and the coach. I don't like that dynamic. I don't think him and the coach would work out. Now, him and Byron Leftwich, yes. But him and Bruce Arians, that kind of will butt heads a little bit, I think.
Bruce wants to win, man, and Carr can help him win. So I feel like it worked.
All right. Well, speaking of Tampa Bay, let's talk about Mr. Quimby. Quimby, what are your thoughts here on Carr in Vegas?
I see him staying, to be honest. I mean, he, what they reiterated, he is what kept that team together. He was one of the leaders on the team that kept them winning, got them into the playoffs, had the input to bring the coach in. I would not be one bit upset to have him down there. Bruce Arians is the oldest coach in the league. He's got maybe 2 years at best left in him before we either promote Byron or we move to the next. So I would gladly take him down there in Tampa because right now the whispers of Blaine Gabbert give me fucking nightmares.
Well, I will say this. All right, one scenario. I like this is just a personal thing. I'd like to see him go to the Texans and revenge his brother. Go revenge David. I'm just throwing that in there. But
You
but
say that he's
so-
going to get sacked 7
Don't do it.
Sure.
it's like maybe and this one's for you, Cody. Just send them to the Giants.
All right, bro. Come on. Did we
I'm
have to
trying to
talk about
help
the
you out,
Giants?
man.
We didn't have to
I'm
talk about the
trying
Giants,
to
bro.
get
Come
you
on.
a quarterback.
All right.
It's
Next
him
topic.
and Trubisky. I'm
Next
trying to
topic.
help you out here. I mean,
You're trying to take your ball, man.
This is me trying to be a friend. Look, all right, y'all. So that's Derek Carr's situation in Vegas. We'll see what that heads in the next couple of weeks. Now on this next one here, this one's going to be fun. We had the draft combine here just a couple of days ago, and I'm intrigued. You know, we saw some big performances in the draft combine, and I know that we got some draft experts on here, and that we love the draft on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. So I can't wait to hear who thought was the best and who impressed the most during this time frame. So let's get this thing rocking and rolling here. I'm gonna start this one. Oh, this is a tough one because I don't know who I want to start. Everybody's smiling. You know what, Jay? We'll start with Jay. Jay, what are your thoughts on this one? Who impressed you most on the draft?
Anybody from Georgia that played defense?
Basically.
Jesus, you got every one of them up their draft stock by at least 1 to 3 rounds easily. They were just showing out what type of athletes they were and why they won the national championship for the first time in 42 years. And I know that just because it was the year I was born, because I'm old as fuck. But yeah, I mean, they all really impressed me. I would not, you know how I feel about Alabama players transitioning certain positions coming in. Georgia guys, I'm looking forward to seeing what this class holds in 5 years because it's so deep in so many of the aspects. Quarterback, it's lacking in. I mean, there's a couple of guys that could be great. But wide receiver, linebacker, and cornerback is so deep in this class. It's amazing.
All right. LT, what are your thoughts on this one? Who impressed you the most, man?
Gotta piggyback off of Jay, of course, but I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm not gonna be biased. But just like Jay said, man, Georgia, they leaped off the page. Devontae Wyatt and Jordan Davis, the linemen, they showed out. The safety showed out. Lewis, I think it's signed. He ran like a 4.38 40. That's ridiculous. Crazy. Notable guys. Travis Jones, defensive lineman at UConn, ran a 4.92, and he's 325 pounds. I feel some type of way about that. That's crazy. You should not be that big and run that fast. I don't believe it. Amari Barno, Virginia Tech, the transfer from where did he transfer from? I'm not sure if I remember, but the edge rusher 4.36. That's crazy. That's running back speed. Like that's insane. So yeah, those are some guys that they leaped off the page to me.
All right, James. I'll swing to you on this one. Who do you got here, brother?
I mean, of course, if the Falcons are listening to somebody, take a Georgia kid. You can't go wrong. Wyatt, Davis,
Take a Georgia kid.
Homegrown. You're seeing them play every single Saturday. The guys
Same
are
colors.
big. They're fast. Same colors. Not a big deal. I'm just saying, if you don't know where to go, just look across town. Take a Georgia kid. But outside of the Georgia prospects, I'm going to take a guy from a small town school. I'm going to take Tariq Woolen out of University of Texas San Antonio, a cornerback prospect, standing at 6'4", about 200 pounds. He ran a 4.26 40. I think he had a 42-inch vertical leap as well. So the guy's fast. He showed he's explosive, and he's a freak of nature at that size at a position that's now a premium in the NFL. So I'd say, he really made himself some money, and he could be a prospect that could really develop into a future star.
Take a Georgia guy. Bet on it.
You got to go to Georgia.
Not Calvin.
Not Calvin.
Rob, what are your thoughts on this one, brother?
Jerry Rice ran a 4.5 Hall of Famer. Cooper Kupp ran a 4.5 future Hall of Famer. So let me get that out the way. Second of all, what is the difference between football in the 1980s and today? In the 1980s, you could just show up in the summertime, train, play football. You can't do that today. I'm not impressed by anyone. The only thing I'm impressed by is game tape. And I'll say that, folks, and it's not me getting on the kids or getting or criticizing the kids. What I'm saying is you are expected to perform. You know that you are supposed to perform. You have all year to get ready. You have some of the best nutritionists. You have some of the best trainers. You are expected to perform. I'm not saying, like I said, Jordan Davis, guys like that, they did a hell of a job. But I'm not gonna blow smoke up these guys' asses and make them feel like they accomplished something. No, I want to see game film. Game film is what gets me. You can do all you want to in the Olympics when you have underwear on. But what happens when you get out there in that field? What happens when you have to do real training? This is not the Olympics for underwear. This is real football. So I look at tape.
Don't let them tackle you by the thong.
Don't tackle you by the thong. Cody, what are your thoughts on this?
Far left.
Look, I'm not really going out on a big limb here, but this guy just jumped off the charts for me just based off of his size that I didn't realize, and his 40 time based on his size. And that's Sauce Gardner, cornerback from Cincinnati. He measured in at 6'3", close to 200 pounds. He has close to 34-inch long arms, and he ran a 4.47 in the 40. As far as college tape goes, he hasn't allowed a touchdown in college. This guy, I mean, we all knew he was going in the first round, and he will go in the first round. But this is a guy who, in my opinion, has got his stock from the teens as far as like getting drafted 15th, 16th overall to I personally right now have him going to the Jets at number 4 overall. I think he's going to be a lockdown corner in the NFL.
And
we'll
let me
take some sauce too, you know.
And let me say, Cody. Let me say, Cody, you're right. I had him at number 5 early because I knew how good he was because of his tape. You are definitely on point, Cody Stewart.
Man, I'll tell you, man.
His
season.
Can y'all feel it, dude?
60 days away from the draft. Those 2 months are going to go by fast. Let's go draft. Let's get it in, baby. Let's get it in.
I agree 100% with both of them because I watched his game tape once I saw his measurables because you know how much I love Hamilton. I actually moved Sauce above Hamilton on my rankings because he's that good.
Ooh, I can't go that far. I'm not going that far.
No, hold on. Wait, we can do that.
But see, there's the thing.
What you said?
Draft time is coming.
I would put Sauce above
Hamilton's
Hamilton.
been hurt.
Yo, Hamilton is the best prospect in this draft. Okay, and I'm trying to tell you,
speaks a lot more.
That might be your opinion, but I will say Sauce plays a premium position, corner, over Hamilton, who's just a safety. I mean, we've seen where safety's been valued in today's game. I mean, come on now.
Hold on. Hey,
this is a guy who could be
Just
a top
to say,
10
look at
pick.
Lamont.
excuse me, guys.
My favorite position.
What'd you say,
that
Rob?
safety taken in the top 10.
Yes, Rob.
Jamal Adams. Look where he's at now.
I'll let him finish. Listen, James Brown, don't you ever, as long as you ever live, compare Jamal Adams to that young man. He is different. I listened to radio the other day, right? And last time I listened to radio, when I had like sort of a long trip, they were talking about a guy named Michael Parsons. And he sounded, and everything they talked about, the guy, I think it was it Colin Cowherd? He said he knows him. He knows the safety from Notre Dame personally. He said he's still beside him. He was skinnier than he was. He was 215. That man is an absolute, he's ready to go now. The Detroit Lions will be crazy if they do not draft him in number 2. I have him going to the Detroit Lions number 2. They will be crazy because Aaron Rodgers is going to come back with a vengeance next year. That passing attack in that division is hellacious. You need defense. They need a leader. He is a leader. Ken Hamlin, Notre Dame. You better get him.
It's Hamilton, not Hamlin.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Look, Hamilton, it doesn't matter. Go get the man they call
You don't
Ken.
know his name, but he good. All right?
The cards.
You're a Falcons fan. You wouldn't know talent if they smack you upside the face.
All right, hold on.
The legacy is now on fire, ladies and gentlemen.
Moving on to the next topic.
See, first of all, I told you what was going to happen. I told you what was going to happen with Julio Jones, right? But y'all made a good decision there. But other decisions, nah. We can go there, James.
We don't overpay for talent. We don't overpay for quarterbacks. We do know how to hit on first-round picks. We might let them go, but we know how to
James,
hit
when
on
the Falcons were in the Super Bowl against the Broncos, who gave a damn?
When was the last time they went to the Super Bowl?
I did.
All right, that's it. All right, next round.
I think
We
it was
go to the next round. All right, we got our last one. We got our last one, ladies and gentlemen, on Quick Takes, and we're talking about Jimmy G. Jimmy G has been now is probably the biggest quarterback on the trade market. I mean, at the time when we were talking about this, we didn't know Russell was going to be going to Denver, but now we know that Jimmy G is probably going to be the hottest quarterback right now. At least we've been hearing a lot. We don't know the Deshaun Watson situation, which I am kind of hearing that if our man Cody Stewart showed us today from Sean King that if he gets cleared on Friday, that we could be seeing Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, that could be dangerous. That's why Pittsburgh really brought Flores in. We ain't dumb. All right, now anyway, getting on to that, Jimmy G, biggest quarterback on the trade market, and I'm going to ask the fellas this one. So I'm going to start with you, James. I mean, you're looking at Jimmy G here. We've been hearing his name. At first, he was tied to Washington. Then we heard him tied with Pittsburgh. Now we're hearing him tied to the Colts. Obviously, we're getting a lot of whispers on Jimmy G. What are your thoughts on Jimmy G? And is he, in your opinion, the biggest guy left on the market here? Trade market, I should say.
I feel like he might be the only guy left on the market at this point. But I think maybe, honestly, San Francisco might have tried to overplay their hand here. Going into the offseason, we thought that Jimmy G was going to be the top quarterback available on the market. And, I think San Francisco was trying to take advantage of that, maybe trying to get a little bit of extra in that trade package for him. And it's looking like it's backfired. So I feel like at this point, if it's not Indianapolis, he's probably coming back and going to try to start again over Trey Lance. But I really don't feel like, it's not looking good for Jimmy G right now. I mean, it's drying up. There's not a lot of spots available. We'll see what happens, but he might just end up back in San Francisco again.
Cody, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest quarterback still on the trade market. I mean, I'm still going to go with Deshaun Watson. We don't know what's going to happen there, obviously, but that takes me to, I do think that there are teams still out there that will definitely go after him because we don't know what's going to happen with Watson. It still could be where, he doesn't play at all this year. So Pittsburgh still would go after Jimmy G. We still have Indianapolis. I mean, you could even see a team like Carolina who tried something with Sam Darnold last year. It didn't work. Maybe they try to bring in Jimmy G. Who knows? Maybe the New Orleans Saints try to bring in Jimmy G. I do think he will get traded, though, because I don't think that there's a way San Francisco can bring him back, even after coming out after the loss in the NFC Championship game or a few weeks after saying, hey, Jimmy G's time is basically up. We are going to look to trade him. So I think he gets traded probably in the next week and a half to 2 weeks.
All right. Jay, what are your thoughts on this one?
The Colts are, still there, but this is something to put on the back burner and think about. Mike McDaniels is down there, he's the new head coach of, the Fins, and he had Jimmy G in his offense. He knows the guy, and if he's not sold on Tua, what would it take to pry him away and bring him down there and then put an offense around him and be successful? I see that being a perfect fit for him.
You know what? I will say this. I think the biggest piece of that, Jaden, I kind of agree with you on that. I like that one. But the Dolphins had to find a running game because we know Jimmy G loves that running game. And if they don't find a running game, it's going to be a little bit of a tough deal on that. And
we'll trade him Saquon.
I bet you would. Give me all your picks. Rob, what are your thoughts on this bad boy?
This is about the stupidest conversation. Guys, I'm sorry. Why are we comparing a guy who's thrown 71 touchdowns, 38 interceptions career to a guy that's thrown 104 touchdowns and 36 interceptions? And I get Deshaun Watson has his legal issues. And God help me. Washington is going to look so stupid if he gets cleared on Friday. All they had to do was wait 2 days. So let me just say this. In 2020, Deshaun Watson had 4,823 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. There was no DeAndre Hopkins. This is not even a question, folks. It's Deshaun Watson. You make the deal for him. I just laid out everything that you needed to know. Us comparing him to Jimmy Garoppolo is a freaking joke. Like I said, in 2 days, I have a feeling that he might get cleared. And if I'm Deshaun Watson, I don't want to go to Miami. Because why would I want to go to a franchise with that owner? Send him I would want to go somewhere else.
All right. LT. What's the deal with Jimmy G here, brother?
Like a lot of what these guys have been saying, man, is right on the money. It's true. I think, just to put it all together, I think the biggest thing that's concerning with Watson is the deposition that just went through with the trial, right? Reading that, saying that his legal situation may not be able to have a relook until April 1st is what some of that is saying. And I think that's the biggest thing. But, just to piggyback on people who haven't pulled the trigger for Jimmy G, right? Washington, you obviously made a deal with Carson Wentz. They know Jimmy G well, right? Shanahan, I'm pretty sure they know that it could be a fit. You got, just like Jay said, Mike McDaniels, Miami didn't pull the trigger. What is that saying? Maybe that they don't believe that Jimmy G is the guy to pull the trigger for. And that's all that's saying to me. If it's not Pittsburgh or the Saints, somebody with defense, somebody with other things that can hide around what his flaws are, I don't see it.
I mean, and LT, to your point real quick, I know this is a little bit off subject, but just think about all the coaches that have come from Washington who are now successful. I mean, it's
crazy, right?
We talked about that.
Right? It makes you think, man.
Ownership. They don't know what they're doing, man. It's a bad deal.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, that was it for our quick takes here. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we got our two main topics here. And the two main topics that we got going on today, we're going to break those down. Of course, with 2 rounds, and I'll fix the graphic at some point. But each panelist will have 1 minute, obviously, to give their topic and opinion. And then after that, everybody will get an opportunity, a chance to fire back. Now, this one's a little bit different than the first topic. We'll kind of go on that. But the second topic, we're doing notable free agents. So we're just kind of going to go through and kind of decide where we think some of these guys will land on that one. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this one. And we're going to start off with the big names here. All right, Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. Russell Wilson traded to the Denver Broncos. I know there's a guy on this panel that's really happy about that. I know there's a guy that's smiling right now. You already know where I'm starting with this one. Lamont, what are your thoughts on the Green Bay situation and Russell Wilson heading to Denver?
All right. Well, I'll talk winners and losers off of this deal. I can't stop smiling, Darrell. I've been waiting for this. No, but I think winners of the deal. I gotta go with Denver. Yeah, they gave up a lot, but it's like you've been suffering because you haven't pulled a deal like this sooner, right? And all your pieces have been in place. We've seen you do it. We've seen the Rams do it, right? Stafford just went out and got their guy, won a Super Bowl, got their return right off the bat, right? That kind of thing. I mean, I think Darrell, we're talking about. Are we gonna do Aaron Rodgers separate, or are we doing this together?
Well, just go in. Yeah, I'm not gonna time you too bad on this one. It's gonna be a little bit.
Okay, I think Rodgers, your GM actually wins. Mr. G, I can't say his name out. I'm not even gonna butcher it right now.
Call him Goose for short.
Okay, well, Goose, I think he wins. Also because, like you said, he risked having that leverage and going out and getting Jordan Love, and actually brought Aaron Rodgers back. So even though, like you said, Aaron Rodgers had leverage, he had leverage as well because nobody could pull off the deal to pull Aaron away. And I think he's still looking like a good GM, right? I think losers of this got to go with Washington again. It just looks like you blew it, man. Like, I'm sorry, that was the perfect fit for you. Commanders football team, whatever you want to call yourselves, and it ain't winners. And also, I gotta say, McDaniels. I say the Bills, Titans, they lose out too, just because of I don't know. I think now that you put Russ in the AFC, it makes it that much harder for those teams to get over the hump, right? Yes. Bills, Titans, you're closing in. All of a sudden, here comes Russell Wilson, right? McDaniels, you just go to Vegas, looks like a good situation. Boom, here comes Russell Wilson. So that's what I got as far as winners and losers.
It's crazy. Yeah. Jay, I'm going with you on this one. What are your thoughts on the Green Bay keeping Rodgers and Wilson going to Denver?
Well, I kudos to Russell. Nobody knew that he wanted to move. Like, he loves Seattle. They took the chance on him. But something to point out. Lamont mentioned the Rams went and got Stafford. They won the Bowl. But then, the year before that, Tampa went out and got Brady. They won the Bowl. there's an interesting thing there. So, they gave up a couple pieces, but I think with what they could get free agency and or draft, they're easily replaced to build around. As far as
Shelby Harris hurt, I'm gonna say that though. I like Shelby Harris
absolutely, because he kind of reminded me of the way Derek Wolfe used to play.
Yes.
So, and then for Green Bay, I mean, your entire fan base is just like, thank God, because now your GM can work to keep the other pieces he needs to. But I'm gonna tell you, if they don't sign Campbell, they're just.
I agree. You already know how I feel about Love Campbell, man. Campbell was a steal. Him and Douglas are guys I feel like we got to come back. Kevin King can go. Kevin King can go. I've been saying that for 2 years.
I love
Kevin
seeing the back of his jersey, though.
I bet you.
That's the only thing we see.
That's right, exactly. Wow, what are your thoughts on the Denver, Wilson and Green Bay keeping Rodgers?
Let me start with Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers, 79 since winning the Super Bowl in the playoffs, 11-10 record overall. Last time we saw Aaron Rodgers, he was getting his ass beat by the San Francisco 49ers, a team that barely snuck into the playoffs. The same team that should have gone to Super Bowl, but Matthew Stafford did his thing. I'll give the man credit because that's what I do. I don't diss people. I give them credit. The Green Bay Packers are a team right now. There's no excuse. You should be in the Super Bowl. Who's gonna stop you? The Rams? No. Dallas? Hell no. Who else? Green Bay has the formula. You have one of the best receivers in the NFL in Devontae Adams. No matter what Mr. Brian Snow says, with that erroneous take talking about Devontae Adams is not the best wide receiver in the NFL. Just absolutely erroneous. Now, let me get to Russell Wilson for a second. In 2020, 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 4,212 yards. Last year, even hurt, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And here is the biggest point that nobody's talking about. Yes, you got Derek Carr. He's really good. Yes, you got Justin Herbert. He ain't sniffed the playoffs yet. Ladies and gentlemen, we possibly get a Monday night game or a Sunday night game or possibly even a Thursday night game with Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Ladies and gentlemen, anyone out there, these fans questioning Russell Wilson at the age of 33, what he can do? This man, give me one more second. 292 touchdowns, 87 touchdowns. He's 8 away from 300. He is less than 2,900 some odd yards away from 40,000 yards. This is a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback. Stop comparing him to other quarterbacks and said because if he loses athleticism. This is why Lamar Jackson said what he said, and he should have said it, because certain quarterbacks get treated differently. Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer and would have 2 chips if his coach didn't make an idiotic decision. I'm done.
I feel you on that one, and I think Lamont will agree with this one. The Broncos got a better line to an extent than what Seattle's had over the last couple of years.
Terrible.
Russell's going to get a lot more time in the pocket with those young guns that they got in the draft a couple years
ago. And I'm going to tell you like this too. Watch Jerry Jeudy. And Jay, you can attest to this. If they get that running back out of Iowa State, woo!
Watch out. Watch out.
Javonte.
I'm going to tell you.
Javonte balling, bro.
Man, they get Javonte. If Gordon comes back and if they got that guy from man, it could be crazy and different. But I know,
but don't forget, they still got Ken Hamler who's in there. He is the monster. As long as everybody stays healthy, that's the thing. They got to stay healthy. Pick up a tight end because occasionally Russell likes the security blanket.
Let me tell you about that though. People talked about Noah Fant, them getting rid of Fant. Well, I can't pronounce his name either. There you go. Okay. Listen, whatever his name is, even though he has half the catches that Fant has, they've only thrown him the ball 40 times this year. Yeah. He has 33 catches. So his rapport and his chemistry with the quarterbacks were crazy. Yeah. Like Noah Fant did not have that type of an effect when he was in the game.
Well, Russ
consistency.
Agree, but we got to see what he does with with Russell. That's the thing. You got to
You're
build
right.
it with Russell.
This is true. Cody, what are your thoughts on this one, brother?
I'm gonna start with the Packers first. I mean, obviously, they win this. They're able to get their guy, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, for another 3-4 years. I will say, and I think James brought this up in the group chat the other day. It does seem like Green Bay is going to kind of go down like that New Orleans Saints road with like how their cap is absolutely insane right now, because you got to look at it. They are going to franchise tag, or they did franchise tag Devontae Adams, but with the money that Rodgers is going to be getting and the other pieces that you already are paying on the team, is Devontae going to be able to be on the team after next year, after the franchise tag comes off? So there's definitely a lot of questions in regards to the cap with this move, bringing back Rodgers. But again, smart move by Green Bay, obviously. Now, in regards to the Broncos, y'all know I was saying it the past couple weeks. I really thought Rodgers was going to go to the Broncos, but I knew that at the very least the Broncos were going to bring in a guy that we all know they've been a quarterback away over the past couple years from really being a competitor in the AFC and for the Super Bowl. One of the biggest things that I would bring up with the Broncos over the past couple weeks is their inability, it seems like, over the past few years to win very close games. It seems like last year they lost like 4 or 5 games by, 5 or 6 points or less, the same in 2020 and 2019. Well, over the last 3 years, Russell Wilson is 22-8 in games that are decided by one possession. So that's just going to chalk it up for the Broncos to win these close games and finally get them from that 7-10 record to now 11-6, maybe 12-5, even though they're going in a tough division in the AFC West. And I want to bring up, everybody says maybe the Broncos gave up too much. Russell Wilson, like Rob said, I mean, bona fide Hall of Famer, should have 2 Super Bowl wins. We all know that. Mm-hmm. I feel like, if anything, Seattle should have got more for Russell Wilson. And you were talking about tight ends and so forth, them getting rid of Noah Fant. Look, they still have 3 top 100 picks in this year's draft. And this year's draft is very, very deep at the tight end position. They can get a guy from Ohio State, Jeremy Ruckert. That would be a perfect fit for the Denver Broncos. Yes. And I will end with this. How wild would it be? Russell Wilson wins a Super Bowl for the Broncos, the team that he absolutely demolished in his first Super Bowl. That would be insane.
Man. Hey, Darrell.
Don't forget the tight end free agent class is huge this year also.
Yeah. Darrell, real quick. I got 2 things real quick. First, let me say this. If he can somehow get his hip straight, which I feel so sorry for him, I think Blake Jarwin would be a hell of an addition in Denver. And second of all, who made this post about Carson Wentz? Looks like Wentz will take command in Washington. Whoever made this was hilarious.
That was me.
Because, and listen,
that was me.
And listen, and the reason I bring this up, guys, is because a week ago, because we covered Washington. I hate to bring it up again, but they had Rodgers and Wilson in their peripheral, and they got Wentz. I just had to bring it up. I'm sorry.
That was me. I'll take full take command of Washington. Thank you.
Hey, Darrell.
Thank you.
I want to add one quick thing. Something that happens a lot of times when, a team finally gets their franchise quarterback and they already have a very good team around him. You see these veteran free agents who haven't really been winning elsewhere. They're fine accepting, little $1-2 million deals to go win a championship. So I'm just saying, Denver's going to be a very attractive option for these free agents that want to win games.
The tight end class, and I'm going to go to James after this because we got to get James in there. Tunyon and Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram, I believe.
All right, bye.
Why are you getting upset? I'm just
man, they're saying they want to use him as a slot receiver now, man.
I apologize.
But don't forget Gronkowski's in there, and so
Gronkowski is also in there. So if he decides he wants to, give it a run with a Wilson. I mean, the sky's the limit there. The sky's the limit. James, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, starting off, definitely winner is Denver Broncos getting Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell comes into a team where he has a bona fide offensive line. At wide receiver, he's got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler coming back from the injury. At Alberto at tight end, he's got a stable of running backs, even if they bring back Melvin Gordon or get Breece Hall from Iowa State in the draft. I mean, we're talking about a revamped offense with the caliber of quarterback that we've said that's Hall of Fame level. He's been to the big game twice. He's won it once. Would have won it twice if Rob said, like, if they'd have just handed off to beast mode. I'm pretty sure that still keeps Pete Carroll up at night. If you'd have just handed it off, you'd have 2 rings with a Russell Wilson. Maybe he stays in Seattle at that point. But, I mean, Denver is definitely on the come up at this point. And you got to remember, the last time Denver had a legit caliber franchise quarterback, they did win a Super Bowl, and that was with Peyton Manning. Now, it was towards the end, and the defense kind of helped get them there, get them home. But you got to remember, each time they've had a bona fide starting franchise caliber quarterback, they've always won championships. So this is definitely good for Denver and definitely good for Russell Wilson. As far as Rodgers, I mean, it's a win for Devontae Adams. I mean, he gets Rodgers gets Adams, and it'll be good for the rest of those guys on the team as far as they know now where they stand. And Green Bay can actually start making some decisions of how they can actually put their team together on the field this year. As far as losers, I'm going to say what the rest of the NFC North, that division, I mean, they finally thought, hey, we got a shot. Rodgers is leaving town. They PO'd. They pissed him off to the point he's about to be out the door. And it's just like, wait, he's back?
I love it.
So I will say the rest of the NFC North, you know, they're taking an L this morning. Intriguingly, though, I will also say Aaron Rodgers also takes a hit here with Russell Wilson moving to the AFC because now he's undisputedly the best quarterback in that conference. And if they do not get to a Super Bowl on this next contract, it looks terrible.
Miserable.
It's a blemish
James,
on his record that cannot be removed.
Hey,
because
James,
he's undisputedly the best right now
James,
in that conference.
You just brought up something that just intrigued my mind so much. Thank you, James. You are brilliant for that. Who does Aaron Rodgers struggle against a lot? Russell Wilson. Could you imagine if they met in the Super Bowl?
No. I don't want no parts of that.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, what? Aaron takes a lot
I
of
don't want no parts of that. I'm good.
I'm just saying, man.
Hold on. Do you know what Calvin
Aaron does
Ridley's
take a hit
first
for that.
bat will be?
What's that?
He'll be
Jesus
the first audible that Russell Wilson will call will be Omaha.
You know what? I'm done. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
All right,
what was you saying, James?
What other losers? Going back to the losers, I do feel like everyone said, you know, Washington does look bad in this scenario. I mean, yes, Russell Wilson had a no trade clause. He wouldn't lift it for them, but it still looks bad. The fact that you had pieces, you had the draft picks, you offered, I believe, it was 5 first-round draft picks that I believe was to be offered to Seattle, and Russell Wilson still wouldn't lift his no trade clause to come and join your team. So it definitely looks bad, and it looks even worse if Deshaun Watson is cleared from these charges and is able to play next season. It looks way bad if you're the Washington.
Won't nobody going after Carson Wentz, all right? Nobody was going after Carson Wentz.
They could have waited 3 weeks to go after Carson Wentz.
The last day of training camp, they could have said, all right, let's go trade for Carson Wentz. Nobody was going after him. They got too impatient, man.
Anybody came to see you?
Cody,
Cody,
you know what makes it worse? Sierra would rather go to Colorado where it gets really, really cold than to go to DC, which is near what? Russell Wilson's from Virginia. You're coming home, baby.
Russ don't,
but guess what? He don't want to come home.
Russ ready to do a little something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
It's medicinal.
Come on, man.
He's investing in his body.
Hey, wait till after the chip, Russ. Wait till after the chip, baby. We got work to do.
I'm sorry. Listen, guys, again, $28 million. Do not be surprised if Terry McLaurin says bye-bye after the season.
He ain't gonna be there.
Terry's gone, bro.
Come on. No way I'd stay. No way in the hell.
You know the crazy thing about this whole thing is, like, what is that? If you're Washington, what is that saying? I mean, you gave all of you threw everything at him, but your franchise is in such disarray. Russell Wilson was like, no, I don't want to touch that. He doesn't want to go there when your owner is you've already heard all these bad things about it. Why would you want to go in that toxic relationship? Maybe they had new ownership and Jeff Bezos was the guy, maybe, but no, not at all.
I hate to say it, but and especially if you're a black quarterback, what the hell you want to go to that franchise for?
Nope.
Hey, look, I know we got to move on. I just want to throw this out there. If Washington really wanted to get a quarterback, all right, I'm really surprised, and I know that everybody has their own thoughts about him, but you could have offered a little more, and he would be a better quarterback if you would have asked Cleveland, yo, what do y'all want for Baker Mayfield? because listen, if you factor in Baker's age,
I agree.
his contract.
I understand Baker.
I mean, it makes more sense for them to go after a Baker Mayfield than it does a Carson
Hey,
Wentz.
Darrell, when you asked us the trades or the quarterback movement we wanted to see on last week's show, I don't know if you remember, I said I thought Baker and Russ, because of the situations the teams were in, would have been a perfect matchup. Now fast forward and look at what we're looking at, right?
It's crazy, man.
Hey, last thing, I promise. Last thing, I swear, I promise.
I promise.
Remember a couple weeks ago when I was talking about Washington was like 40, 50 million over the cap, and they had all that money? They are now 2030 NFL with minus $1,705,773. You got to be the dumbest damn team I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
All right, everybody. So that is it on Rodgers and Wilson. It's been
Check,
a very interesting
please.
one. We still got a lot to go, but we're going to finish one up. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because we're going to do notable free agents now. Don't mind the graphic here because when I did the graphic, we still thought that Devontae Adams would be free or potentially be free. But I'm glad that he's a
He'll be
tag,
traded
so
soon.
I will take that. I'll gladly take that on that one. So, now, I think the way we're going to do this one is we'll name the player. We'll have everybody kind of go through real quick. Tell me the team they think they're going to, and we'll keep that real short. So just tell me the team that you give me one word answer on the team, and then we'll go back and discuss the player after that. So let's do one word, and then everybody will discuss as a group on that one. So let's do that here. All right. So the first one we're going to go with is Allen Robinson. Now, Allen Robinson last year had a lot of, it was a rough year for him. Let's be honest with you. I mean, that quarterback carousel in Chicago was not cute. And I think he really wanted to go last year, but they franchise tagged him. He just took the L and went with it. So this one's going to be interesting. So I'm just going to go around the circle. We'll start with Jay, then we'll loop around. Jay, where do you see Allen Robinson?
Dolphins.
Cody.
Raiders.
Rob.
Raiders.
LT.
Patriots.
James.
Chiefs.
Okay. Let's discuss this a little bit. Now, I heard two Raiders in there. That was Rob and LT. Why Raiders?
Cody. It was Cody.
First. Oh, it was Cody. My fault.
Yeah, it was Cody.
So Cody and Rob. So Cody, I'll go with you first. Why the Raiders?
I mean, we saw what the Raiders did last year when they brought in Deshaun Jackson, and I mean, didn't necessarily work. They need somebody else there in that tough division. Allen Robinson to the Raiders just makes sense.
What about you, Rob?
They lost possession to the eventual team that went to the Super Bowl. They have Allen Robinson. Sky's the limit. Bottom line, sky's the limit.
Now, I like this one. I like this one. Jay, you said the Dolphins, and we know how bad they need another receiver down there in Miami, especially with the broken Devontae. I'm sorry. I love trashing my man Devontae Parker. I'm sorry. I apologize. What are your thoughts on the Dolphins? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm sorry, Jay. Go ahead.
He sucks, man. They pay him a lot of money to do nothing. So, I mean, they need more weapons to put around whoever the quarterback is down there. They brought in an offensive-minded guy, and they tagged Galecki, which was brilliant on their end. Yeah, eat it. The Penn State tight end was great.
Nice. Now, LT, anyway. you said the Patriots. And I like this move. I mean, the Patriots are always, they're kind of looking for that guy because they got a lot of that's funny. You got a lot of 2s and 3s. You got a lot of 2s and 3s there in New England. What Allen Robinson going there? What are your thoughts on him?
You said it exactly. You're going to need to help out Mac Jones, who did perform a little better than what people thought coming into his first year of the Patriots. I mean, like you said, they need a number one, right? They need a clear number one. Jacoby Myers isn't doing it for him. Nikhil Harry, not it, right? So bringing Allen Robinson there and hopefully establishing that connection could maybe turn the page for a Patriots team who is performing, right? They're right there. For what we thought they would be, they're right there, right? So I feel like that would be a great addition to the team, and maybe they can turn the page with that defense they got.
Now, James, one more time. Who did you say one more time, James?
Chiefs.
All right, now they don't need no more help. But why? Why did you go with the Chiefs on that?
Y'all killing me with these AFC West teams. Please stop.
Why y'all trying to? But the AFC, the West side is going to be real packed.
It's simple. I mean, what if you're Allen Robinson? you're looking to get back to the market next year, score a big time deal. I mean, he can do that. He can accomplish that with a 1-year deal going to Kansas City. That's going to be an offense he's familiar with. Matt Nagy, who was his previous head coach in Chicago, he went back to Kansas City. I believe he's going to be an offensive consultant for that team. But generally, that offense, he's basically going to know the ins and outs of it. He can go back. He can play opposite Travis Kelce and a Tyreek Hill, get his numbers up, hit the market again next year, and possibly win a championship all in the mix. So if you're him, it makes perfect sense. Not to mention that until this past season, his numbers in that offense were great with Trubisky as his quarterback. Imagine to be like with Patrick Mahomes throwing you the rock each time. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
they're going to grab a receiver.
Yeah, they have to. They
keep me up at night.
They're going to get somebody who's going to be. I picked the Commanders. I'm going with the Commanders because I felt like that should have been the move last year. When they were the Washington football team, obviously they weren't able to get them, but they got to get a number 2 with McLaurin, and they just got to find somebody.
And what the Commanders are probably going to do, they're probably going to put out something saying they're going to go after the top wide receiver, and then they'll trade for like Calvin Ridley since he still can't play this season. So
that's crazy. All right, next one we're going to do. Now I know this one. Von Miller. We'll swing around. Jay, who you got? Von Miller
killing me, Smalls.
Von Miller's going to go back to the Rams.
Cody.
He's going back home, baby. Denver Broncos.
Rob.
History repeats itself. Bill Romanowski. The Raiders.
Oh, LT.
I would love to have Von back. Von, if you somehow see, we would love to have you back. But I believe the Rams will keep him. I believe that's a good fit.
All right. And James.
I think it's going to be Denver.
Please.
please. So I think everybody here is kind of either, and I think he goes back to the Rams. So I think we're kind of split here. I think that might be 3-3 on this one. So I'm gonna let everybody go through real quick and just say why they thought. Jay, why does he go? Why does he go to back to LA?
He wanted to get his ring, and they're going to try to stay similar to what the Bucs did and keep the team together. They're going to pay AD, and I mean, so keep Miller there. He's the leader.
Cody?
Look, man, he obviously loves Denver. Hurt him to leave, but he knew it's a business. Denver now has their quarterback. The pieces are in place. Go back home, win another Super Bowl.
Rob?
I think the Raiders, because as I said about Bill Romanowski, go to Oakland. Go to Vegas. Get revenge on Denver. I mean, he can always go to LA Chargers, which they have more cap space, but put on that silver and black, man. Those games would be epic.
Yeah,
I like that reference.
I know what LT is. LT, what you got on this one?
I said Rams. Again, I'd love to have him back. We all would love to have him back. But I think that he has to see that sentiment, that emotion come over his face when he won the Super Bowl, to know that the Rams took that chance and he got the cash in for him. I think that both parties want to come back. They want to run it back.
All right, James.
I think you can honestly go back to Denver. Like Cody pointed out, I mean, Denver now has a franchise caliber quarterback in place. I mean, this is a team now. They're ready to go, and I feel like Vaughn can come back. He can still contribute to that defense. He may not be the guy that he used to be with 15-plus sacks, but, I mean, he can still come in, get you those crunch time sacks, that pressure on the quarterback. He can still get that done for you, and I feel like if he can come back to Denver, he'll take that opportunity.
I didn't throw my gear away, Vaughn. I still have it. I still have it, baby.
Please let me be able to put it back on.
He tweeted about it.
All right, so this one, let's go with an interesting quarterback prospect here, and let's go with Jameis Winston. Jay, where does Jameis Winston land?
Actually, I had him going to the Commanders until they did this trade with for Wentz. So I'm going to say he stays with the Saints.
All right, Cody.
He stays with the Saints.
Rob.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
I like that one. LT.
I think Steelers or Saints. I'm kind of stuck between the two, but I think Steelers or Saints. He could be eating them W's like Jay said.
James, who do you get?
I think Jameis stays put. I think he really does stay in New Orleans.
All right, so we got a split on Steelers and Saints here. I still think he goes back to the Saints. I think they started off pretty good last year, so I think he goes with the Saints. Anybody want to speak on the Saints' behalf?
I'll go for it.
James, there you go.
I mean, what? Jameis Winston proved that under Sean Payton's system, he can be a competent quarterback in New Orleans. I mean, if you are New Orleans, what are you going to do? You're going to really trot out Taysom Hill for 17 games or Trevor Siemian? I mean, we've seen that before. It's
Please
not going to
no.
work. Jameis Winston at least gives you a chance to be competitive and win games in the division. I mean, let's be honest here. The NFC South is kind of up for grabs this year. And if you're the Saints, Jameis Winston definitely gives you your best chance to win it. So I'd say bring him back.
Rob, give the Steelers the reason why the Steelers should bring the man in.
Black head coach, black exile coach, black quarterback. I mean, hell. We're
black everything.
Be quiet. We're gonna be quiet about that one. But yeah, that's
That drives me nuts. Skin color on anything. I know it's real in the world, but it just pisses me off.
Jay, I hate it too. But you know what? But you know what it is though. It's like somebody made a joke about it, talking about how they invented running rules, so they're gonna try to make themselves look good. I think it's stupid too. But in all seriousness, I think that Pittsburgh is a perfect spot because Jameis Winston is a really, really good quarterback, and I think that he has the elements to make that team really good. And in the division where it's year to year.
Yeah.
Now that he's got a nice pick.
I was saying, do they sell crab legs up in Pittsburgh?
No,
they ain't as good as New Orleans.
You would know. Do they sell crab legs in Pittsburgh?
Look, they ain't as good as them burgers, man, that we had up there. So
Look, 3 years to the day, Lamont. 3 years to the day.
you know what? It just came up on my feed.
Came up on the timeline. All right.
I'll tell you this though.
What?
He's more of a leader than Carson Wentz is.
Touche,
I don't know.
That's true.
Oh,
That's
shit.
true. That's
I
true.
don't trust him up here.
Nah, Jameis's guys play for him though. I will definitely say.
Yeah.
Nobody has come out and say, "Hey, we hate Jameis."
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh doesn't need him to be a leader, so that's why it might work. I mean, you got so many leaders in Pittsburgh, you don't need him to do
It's
that.
weird, but it works, Rob. It's weird, but he gets people to buy in.
Also,
Maybe-
up in
I don't know. He
Pittsburgh,
gets
you
them to
can't
buy
steal
in with
crab legs.
You know what? All right, next one we're gonna do is Chandler Jones. Jay, where does Chandler Jones go?
Stays with Carr. I think he's gonna finish his career out there. They got a lot of young pieces there. He is definitely a leader because from what we're hearing, Murray's not.
All right, Cody.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Intriguing. Rob.
What did the AFC West have? They have a bunch of good quarterbacks, right?
Right.
Great quarterbacks, right? Who do you put beside Joey Bosa? Chandler Jones, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh, yeah. Rob don't like that. LT don't like that. LT, what you got on this one?
I don't like that. No, but all right, hear me out. I'm piggybacking off of Rob though, because if you think about it, everybody in the division has a quarterback in that NFC West, except for Seattle just departed, right? How do you get back at somebody at a division who has one up on you? You attack their quarterback. Get a Chandler Jones, right? You're already rebuilding. Get a Chandler Jones so maybe you can neutralize what they have that you don't.
James.
I'm gonna say Buffalo.
Tough.
That's a hell of a weather change, though, ain't it?
I mean, he used to play in New England, though, so he's used to it.
That's true too, man.
And he went to school in Syracuse, so that's New York too.
Hey.
And he was a lot younger.
James, you my dude, right? You my dude, man. We boys, right?
Well, I thought there's an insult coming behind that.
Read the damn cap. Read the damn cap.
Hey, we've seen Cap be manipulated for a lot of things.
This is also true.
We've seen Cap manipulated for a lot of things. And an elite pass rusher is one thing it'll be manipulated for.
They're not signing him, man. Come on, James.
Hey, man. We've seen stranger things happen.
Touche.
Y'all here tripping like CM Punk, man.
Look at the Saints. They're 74 million over for a reason. We've seen stranger things happen, man.
All right, next one we got CJ Jackson. He's a little hurt that he New England didn't give him no love, so he's one of the hottest cornerbacks on the market. Jay, where do you see CJ Jackson going?
I really think he does end up going back to the Patriots because Belichick's defense runs off of having that one shutdown corner. So if it's not him, he's got to figure something out. That's the only way his defense works.
Cody?
Look, man, quarterback heavy division. They need to stop it. Los Angeles Chargers.
I like that one. I like the one. Rob.
And you get free crutches when you sign.
Oh my God.
Rob, where do you go with that one?
Okay. Now, it's J.C. Jackson, by the way.
J.C. Jackson, my fault. What did I say? C.J. Jackson?
I think, in my opinion, if I'm looking at the teams and I'm looking at the cap space, I think a team that could be intriguing. I think a team that's on the rise. Y'all may laugh at me. The Jets.
No, you know what? That's not too bad.
Get back at New England for not signing them. I can understand that.
The defense there actually had some really good moments last year. They just couldn't get it together offensively with the injuries at quarterback. And
just go ask the Titans.
And the Bengals. They beat the Bengals. They beat the Bengals too. So it's like you can't sleep completely on the Jets, but I do like that one. LT.
Cody hit it right on the head for me. I say the Chargers, and I hate to say it, but if you look at who he's going to be opposite side of the field, they got a young Asante Samuel Jr. who played pretty decently, right? So now you get that second guy who can also lock down. That offense is already rolling. I think that's one step that they make. They make a couple more steps like that. I can see them making a run for the bowl. I can see it.
James.
J.C. Jackson, I'd say why not Cincinnati? I mean, we've seen what they've been able to do. Trade out Eli Apple. Trade out Eli Apple for J.C. Jackson. Oh, you already franchised
out of here.
At safety. I mean, that's two tandems right there.
Hey,
that's half of your secondary fit.
Now, Rob,
he's right on the field without.
Rob, before I get my mind, because I know you get looking at the salary cap. What's Tennessee's salary cap look like?
Trash.
Is it trash?
Horrible.
Is it horrible?
You got to everything. They just gave Harold Landry that big deal yesterday.
Tennessee would have been the spot. I would have said only because I think with the Rabel connection. But I know this is gonna sound crazy, but those players tend to go to places where old New England coaches go. And if you notice, like it's always seemed like the New England players like navigate to a New England coach. So Texas, I would say one team kind of watch out for.
Minus $12,410,413.
And that's for the Titans?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not happening there.
So, are you saying are you saying the Raiders then?
Very true. Very true.
Raiders
could use them.
Also be a spot, and then I think the only other one that made kind of doing them. I don't know how Pittsburgh is with me, but I guess
they're okay.
I'm gonna cry every week.
I think Pittsburgh will take another corner.
All right, next one we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Gilmore, or Stephen Gilmore, either or. But Gilmore is made the Pro Bowl again while being in Carolina. Kind of a quiet year because he was playing in Carolina. But Jay, Gilmore, where do you see him?
Cardinals.
Cody.
Cardinals.
Exactly. Y'all took my thunder. I knew we were going Stephon Gilmore next. Y'all took my thunder. Pittsburgh Steelers. That only makes sense.
Okay. Jay, what was you saying real quick, Jay? My fault.
Oh, I said the Cardinals. I thought you said Jay.
I know, but I cut you off. That's why I was trying to go back to you. I was apologizing. You good?
No, because they're getting long in the tooth, and besides their safety play, they really need somebody to match up. I mean, Debo Samuel can take them apart easily by himself. They need help, all the help they can get in secondary.
Rob,
I have a crazy feeling about this, and I think they can maybe clear out some space. The Detroit Lions.
They need it. They need it. They need to figure it out. They need it. I definitely agree with that one. LT.
All right, hear me out. Two teams that got a pretty good pass rush, and they can put Gilmore in there to play some nice man-to-man that will give them a real help. Bucks and 49ers.
Oh, we don't need them in Tampa Bay. That can't happen.
I like it. Do it, Jay. Do it.
I want Carlton Davis back if we're going to do that.
Okay. James, what are you looking at on that one, James?
I'm going to say Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore is a team where, Jimmy Smith's probably going to retire. He was a little long in the tooth. You can bring in Stephon Gilmore. Peterson comes back. Now you got three guys that can control the secondary. I think Baltimore would be a good look.
I like that.
Their secondary-wise,
nearly $15 million plus on the cap for Baltimore. They can move around some parts. They can do an incentivized Lamar Jackson deal as like they did with Colin Kaepernick. That's why they were able to sign so many defensive players. So I agree with you, James Brown. Great take, sir.
All right, next one we got on the list. Tyrann Mathieu, always say his name wrong. The Honey Badger. We're gonna go there. Honey Badger is also up on this one. Jay, where do you see the Honey Badger going?
I actually had him going to the Ravens, so.
Oh, okay, Cody.
Hey, they're going to be doing a duo, baby. I already had J.C. Jackson going to the Chargers. Let's go ahead and add Tyrann Mathieu to the Chargers as well.
Whoa,
Jesus.
Yes, let's get that secondary legit.
Lamont, they don't
Cody,
want you to be
you're
great.
taking them
No.
They want you to be great.
Wait till you get to me, though.
Sales.
No, wait till you get to me though.
LT, they don't want you to be great. Rob.
Jaguars. Jaguars. You got a new head coach in there. They got money, almost $40 million. They are simply a defense away, and their franchise quarterback playing better for them to be competitive in that division.
All right, LT.
This is, for the record, one of my favorite players that's not on my team. I like the way this guy flies away around the field and the way that he leads, right? And with that being said, me and Cody are right on the same page. We both said that we wanted JC Jackson there in the Chargers. I also have the Chargers. I have it written down right here for Matthew too. Because listen to me. Brandon Staley is the type of coach, right, that he will take what somebody doesn't want and make value out of it. Right. And I feel like if Kansas City is dumb enough to let them move on and they just can't make it work, what better thing to do with the Chargers and bring him back? And remember, Chris Harris left Denver for the Chargers. Hasn't been healthy, but remember.
I don't mean to cut y'all off. I know we got to get to James, but like we're talking Asante Samuel Jr., J.C. Jackson, Tyrann Mathieu, and Derwin James. Are you serious?
Yes.
And that's not even talking about James.
Passing yards. Yes.
Hey, Cody, real quick. You're not even talking about the draft yet.
Exactly.
They're going to line.
James, what do you got on this one?
Don't forget Nazar is in there too.
Is that who?
Nazar Adderley, the safety.
Oh, yeah, they got Adderley too.
Oh, yeah, last year.
Yeah. So
go ahead, James.
Where do you see him going?
I'm going to say Tyrann Mathieu trades in the red and yellow for the silver and black. I can see him going to Oakland. I mean, Oakland needs a defensive leader on that back end.
It's Vegas.
Kansas City doesn't have the fun. I mean, Vegas. Kansas City doesn't have the funds
Take his
to bring
car
him back.
keys.
He goes to Vegas.
Oh,
Not everybody.
It's not the Honey Badger, man. Don't do my guy like that.
Okay. Not everybody in the Vegas. Not everybody that goes to Vegas drives at 100+ miles an hour.
Call for a spare truck.
All right.
But yeah,
So we
I can see him going to Vegas.
We got two more left on the list here, and we're gonna go offense. We'll give offensive tackle some love here. Teron Armstead from the New Orleans Saints. Jay, where do you think he would be best? Where would his services be best needed? I guess you could say. We'll say it that way.
Well, the Rams have an opening.
True.
But I would also say, the Giants, they've been trying to find a fix up there for a hot minute.
All right. Anyway, listen, the reason that I haven't picked anybody to go to the Giants is, number one, nobody wants to come. And number two, we don't have the cap space. So there's
not
that.
even going to get your hopes up?
Yeah, why? I'm trying out for them next week. So moving on, I think that it's a no-brainer, man. He goes to Cincinnati. They absolutely need his services. They have the cap space to make it happen. He goes to Cincinnati.
Rob.
Miami.
LT.
Listen, Chicago Bears. League worst 58 sacks last season, right? You don't know what you really have in Fields because the man's been running for his life and in his sleep. Get the man some help.
Look, Rob. Right by his name, where the hell did it go? Dolphins is who I had wrote.
Nice.
You had it in there.
I had it in there, but I changed up just because the way everybody,
James, I didn't skip you, LT, right? James, right? James.
Yeah.
All right, James.
I'm gonna have to agree with Cody. I think it's got to be the Cincinnati Bengals. If not the Bengals, maybe the Colts, but I would say the Bengals. You got to protect Joe Burrow. To see what he can do without protection. Imagine if he had some help up front.
Here's the only problem, though, Darrell, for Cody and James. The Bengals don't spend money like that.
They need to.
They need to. Listen. The
Bearcats,
the Cincinnati Bearcats have an indoor facility. They're a college team. The Bengals don't.
Listen, I will say this. I totally agree with you. I do know Cincinnati doesn't spend that money, but after seeing their franchise quarterback get sacked 9 times against the Titans, and then 7 or 8 times against the Rams, they know that they have to spend some money to protect them.
I got another caveat too, though. Last offseason, we did see the Cincinnati Bengals open up the pocketbook a little bit. They went out and got Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Pass rusher they added to the defense. They did go out and get an Eli Apple and a Mike Hilton. So we have seen them spend money. Hopefully this offseason they spend it a little bit more wisely.
Yes.
Get themselves a tackle, an offensive lineman somewhere. So it could happen.
Just to let y'all know, I mean, Cincinnati, as of right now, they're projected to have close to $36 million in cap space. They're like 6th or 7th with the most cap. So they got money to spend.
Armstead is a guy that played with Hendrickson, and with Hendrickson being there,
very true.
They could drop something in there.
I got 2 spots. I agree with Cincinnati because Joe Burrow's got to get protected. After watching that Super Bowl, if that line was better, they win that Super Bowl. Just the way it is. They win that Super Bowl if that line is better. But Jacksonville, you got to protect Trevor Lawrence. You cannot have a guy. You can see that Trevor's got the talent to win in the NFL, but he ain't got time to throw the football. I never thought I would
just tag for Trevor. Cam Robinson though.
Yeah, but you still
joke of a franchise.
You got to do something. You got to find a way to protect that. I don't know. You put him on the right side. I don't care what you do with him. You need to sign as many offensive linemen as you can to protect this man. You can't continue to let him get beat up. You just can't. So between him and Burrow, I will agree there. You got to protect those first picks. Got to protect those first picks.
And you don't have Carson Wentz to beat up on twice a year anymore.
Touche. And next and last one here. Mitch Trubisky. This guy's been a hot name out here. He's been a hot name out here. Jay, where you got Mitch Trubisky going? Look at Rob.
Look at Cody.
I got him going to the Giants.
Hey!
Let's go.
Cody, Mitch Trubisky.
Hey, Mitch, baby, he's coming to the Giants. We're going 5-12 next year. Let's go.
Yo, bro.
5-12, let's get it.
Rob, where you got Mitchell Trubisky going?
First of all, Mitchell Trubisky was a field goal and a drop pass away from winning 2 playoff games.
This is true.
He did those 6 touchdowns in one game.
So let me tell you like this. The one team I think he can go to where they have a running game and Mitch can run to, I think this is a perfect marriage. And I think he would be cheap. The Indianapolis Colts. Woo, that would be pretty.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's low key could be really good for him inside of that dome. I mean,
because he's better than Carson Wentz. Hell, a lot of people are better than Carson Wentz.
See, I think the problem with Trubisky is I think he just had the wrong guys coaching him in Nagy. And I think that year behind Allen probably will help him out tremendously. Not a coach at all. He just got a Carson.
But see, Josh Rosen feels the same way.
Touche, homie. LT.
All right, hear me out on this. All right, last year of the deal. They don't know what's going to happen yet with Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Bring him in. Let that be your safety net, right? What if you don't have anybody to take over after he or you guys decide to part ways? Bring Mitch in. Bring him in just in case the labrum don't work no more next year. Bring him in.
His mental is as strong as Carson Wentz's. That's all I have to say.
Who's mental?
Baker Mayfield's.
Baker can survive Nagy. He got a strong mental. All right.
James, who you got, brother?
I'd have to say the Giants. I mean, we're going to see Mitchell Trubisky follow Dable. He went to Buffalo last year, sat behind Dable, and Josh Allen learned that system. I feel like if he goes to New York, he can come in this season, possibly compete for that starting role, maybe bump out Daniel Jones. He has a leg up on him already. He knows the offense. So I'm going to go Giants.
Oh, I like it. We got
and that's a good one. And that's a good one. Leg up. Remember, he got tripped up.
Leg up. Daniel Jones, the turf monster. It did get him. Turf monster got him.
Hey, that's hilarious.
He got tackled by Manti
Real knee slapper.
Girlfriend.
All right, everybody. That was it for our main topics there. It'll be great over the next couple of weeks as we start to see free agents and where their homes go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is.
Fire, 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 burn on. Fire, fire, fire.
playing at some point and somewhere. All right, so y'all, it's time to put out the fire, and we're gonna go in reverse order. We'll start this one with James, man. It's your turn to put out the fire, James.
Oh boy.
Let's see. I'm gonna stick with the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, a lot of people have saw what happened with Calvin Ridley. It's not looking good right now. He's definitely gone for the season. He does have a chance to appeal it. Don't think anything's going to happen there. But a lot of people now in Atlanta are talking about maybe drafting a receiver at 8 overall. I think you got to stay the course. You got to go with somebody on defense. I mean, we've seen Matt Ryan made it work with Russell Gage this past year, Tajay Sharp, and Kyle Pitts as receiving threats for this offense. I feel like you got to find somebody on defense to actually help you win some games in Atlanta. I mean, the draft is full of wide receivers. You can pick up a wide receiver maybe in the second round when you have 2 picks or later in the draft, but you got to go defense in Atlanta if you're at number 8 overall.
All right. LT, time to put out the fire, brother.
All right, man. This is mainly for the NBA, but it can be I guess it can be applied to other sports as well. Piggyback off of what Rob mentioned a little bit earlier. Fans. Okay, we're known as fanatics, but you don't have to carry that definition all the way out, right? Just remember that these players, as time goes on, they're getting into it with the fans a lot, and it's making me cringe, right? Like, because the way that they're actually having these in-person confrontations, it just shouldn't be that way. And I just feel like that they need to respect these players as people, right? Like, they're people too, right? So just be wary of that. Respect these players, man, because anybody who's getting disrespected can only take so much.
All right. Next, we got Mr. Robb Johnson. Put out the fire, Rob.
Hey, before I do anything, this is for James Brown. Anyway,
welcome to Atlanta.
All right, so that's for you, James Brown. All right, so let me get serious here. I got a little bit of a long one. It's not gonna be too long, and then a thank you. Let me say this. I want to piggyback off LT. All right. Russell Westbrook. I've had the habit of calling him Russell Westbrook. He said that that's disrespectful to his name. So from now on, I will never call him Russell Westbrook ever again. I will call him by his correct name because he requested it, Russell Westbrook. However, let me say this. You're not in Washington anymore. You're not in Kansas anymore, sweetheart. You're in Los Angeles, baby. And for you to come in and say you don't care about championships, do you remember when they used to call Magic Johnson Tragic Johnson? He got through that, right? Russell Westbrook, I respect him. I respect what he says. But you are sensitive as hell. You are with the Lakers. You are with LeBron James. The same LeBron James who has went to every team and carried somebody to a championship or at least a top 5 seed. I said before the season, if the Lakers failed this season, that's it for you. In fact, I don't think the Lakers should trade him. I don't think they should cut him. They should send him down to the G League. They should send his butt down to the G League because that's what he needs. Russell Westbrook needs some G League in him right now. And the last thing I'm gonna say, real quick, I'm gonna say a thank you. Taya Robinson, thank you.
For sure on that.
Yes,
I like
most
that.
Definitely, yes, sir.
I like that, Taya.
If you had the honor and the privilege to watch that,
Absolutely.
I mean, one of the toughest players. I remember going to her first game that she actually played because she missed the first part of her freshman year. And from that point to now, she's top 3 all time in VCU scoring.
Absolutely.
I mean, much love to Taya. Congratulations on whatever's next for you in your career, man. Like, awesome, man. Absolutely.
And shout out
awesome.
and shout out to last one. Shout out to VCU and Richmond. Go get them.
That's right. Next one, we got Cody. Put out the fire.
Listen, all right. Every year, it seems like, everybody wants to say that, this sports league is king or this sports league is king. It's like it's going to overtake the NFL. Stop. It's not happening. Let's look at it like this. The NBA just had a trade deadline a couple weeks ago, and one of the biggest trades that'll probably go down in history, possibly, with James Harden going to the Sixers, Ben Simmons going to the Nets. We see what happened yesterday. Aaron Rodgers just saying that he's going back to the Packers almost broke Twitter. And then to top that off, you come with Russell Wilson getting traded to the Broncos. Like, those two things happening in the NFL surpasses anything that the NBA has done. The NFL will never be second, third, fourth. They're always going to be top tier.
Gotta agree 100% on that. Jay, put out the fire, brother.
MLB, you bunch of jackasses. I want some baseball in my life. Get your shit together. Get it figured out. Be happy with money. You owners, you give the players some money. Yes, they make a whole bunch of money, but they're the ones that put the fans in the stands. Like LT said, fanatics. We're fans. We love it.
I agree 100% on that one. Please, let's please all get it back together. All right, so look.
It's the Braves' fault.
It's the Braves' fault? Yeah, because
every time you win a championship, it's a lockout.
It's a lockout. Y'all can't win.
Should have never gave you money.
Y'all can't win another championship for 25
But the Braves
years.
are a damn good team, man. They won it without their best player. I will give them that.
That is true. That is true. All right. So I'm gonna put out the fire here, but this is more just a shout out for my squad at North and Rico and my job. Today was my last day there with my family and my crew. 2 years that I spent with these wonderful people. They taught me a lot. They treated me like family. And, sometimes our work people, as y'all know, on here, when you work with somebody, 90, 50, whatever hours a week, some of those people become family to you. And it's not often that I can sit here and say that everybody that I ran across when I was there, I became family with. All the people that gave me love today, all the hugs. Yes, I teared up a little bit because I'm an emotional person when it comes to that type of stuff. But I just want to tell you, everybody at North and Rico, from managers, from the top to the bottom, to my man Ed, the security guy who brought all the pizzas today. Pizzas were fire, by the way, Ed. Love you, brother, for that. The Legacy Maker Cup, which I wish I could have shown that my boss made me with the Legacy Maker logo on it. That bad boy is beautiful. I just want to say I love y'all, and I swear to goodness I mean that with all my heart. And it's not goodbye, it's see you later. I'm definitely going to come back and peek in from there. I'm excited to be heading to the headquarters, working for the state of Virginia. So much love on that, and that's all I got to say on that one. All right, everybody. Look, that is it. Legacy on Fire. Remember, 2 hours, and I'm going to tell you what, y'all. I had no clue we had went 2 hours or close to 2 hours. It was so much fun on this one. Had a really good time, and it was a really good time, ladies and gentlemen. So before we get out of here, Jay, anything you want to say before we go?
God bless. Love y'all. And I hope to see, virtually or physically, next weekend. Big day for me.
That's right.
Cody.
Hey, man, another great day with the boys and Jay. Just love it. Just love it, man. Just love it. Love y'all boys, man.
Rob, anything you want to say, brother?
I got hang time, no extensions.
You know what's up, man. Get out of here. Get out of here. No time whatsoever.
No time.
All day. Got you. LT.
Shout out to all the teams, man. Y'all stay true to your teams. I stayed true to my team, even though we all had some rough times. I appreciate y'all, man. I like the fact that y'all stay with y'all teams. That's loyalty. And this is my favorite team right here. So I'm glad to be back with y'all, man.
Love it. James, hold on. Gotta get you. Oh, James. There you go, James.
Another great week, man. Another great show on the books. Can't wait to do it next week.
All right, everybody.
Hey, James. And let's say 85, baby.
Leave James alone, man. Look, next week we'll be back on the 16th next week. And so next week, of course, my man.
This is for Rob. What does this thing mean where it says it's going to be crunk?
What? Was that A-Town reference? That was an A-Town reference?
Yes, it was.
Get low, Shawty, get low.
Oh,
Did he
true.
just try to bring back crunk juice?
He did, though.
We're going to end it right there because that's enough. Ladies and gentlemen.
I think the last time we said crunk, the Cowboys might have went to the Super Bowl.
We got Jay. We got Cody.
I think that word was invented.
We got James. We'll be back next week on the 16th to bring you some more. The free agency starts next week, so I know it's going to be crazy. And, of course, my man Jay gets married to his beautiful wife, soon-to-be wife, Becca, who is our NASCAR expert here on Legacy Maker Sports. Can't wait to celebrate that next week with you, brother. I'm Darrell Lawrence. This is the squad. This has been Legacy on Fire. Until next time. I think it's going to go. Come on, video. Let's go.